Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Morning Jumpstart. I am Jason Meyer, and today we are going to shake things up a little bit with a little mix along. So, tiny bit behind here, so I did not get to present this quite as I liked it. But what we're going to do today is we are going to mix a 6-color color wheel from our 3 primaries, yellow, red, and blue. And we're going to mix from yellow, red, and blue, orange, green, and purple. After that, we're going to mix 3 values with our black and white. We're going to get a light gray, a middle gray, and a dark gray. We will then take those 3 values and we want to match all 6 colors to those 3 values. Now we're only going to have time to do 1, maybe 2 today, but I want you guys to practice getting 3 values with your yellow, orange, red, purple, blue, and green. Okay? And our procedure is we're first going to adjust the value. Second, we'll adjust the hue. Then we'll adjust the hue temperature. And finally, we'll adjust the chroma or intensity of the color. Okay, so for those of you guys in class, you will be seeing this in this week's lessons. There'll be a PDF there that you can download and work from. All right, so let's check in with everybody. Miss Janny, welcome, welcome. This is going to be fun. And we got Sue ready to go. Excellent, excellent, excellent. And Tom's in the studio, I hope, with the 2 colors spread out. And Shakti and Susan. Great. Great, great, great. All right, guys, we ready? All right, Miss Cindy. Miss Cindy's got it all under control. At least I hope so. Somebody's got to. Somebody's got to. All right, so what you see in my palette is you see cad yellow light, you see alizarin crimson, and ultramarine blue for my colors. Then I have flake white and ivory black, and then this is my medium. Why do you want medium? Because the medium is going to make it easier. The medium will make it easier for you to mix the paint. So if like your arm's getting tired and it's stiff, put a little medium in there to let it go smoother. Don't put so much that it's liquid, right? So you're gonna have to adjust that. Okay, oh my goodness, we got the whole crew here. I love it, I love it. Reenie's here, Barbara and Katie. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay guys, because of our time limit, which is 30 minutes. Like I said, I don't know how far we're going to get, but I'm going to go relatively quickly. You'll have this in the school, the instructions to go through, and then you'll have this video as well to repeat. So if you get lost, just relax. It'll be in there. But 30 minutes is not much time. So, what did we say we wanted to do first off? Well, first off, why don't we mix up a little color wheel so we can know what we're doing here. And in our color wheel, we're going to do this over to the side. We're going to have yellow at the top. We're going to have alizarin over here. Ultramarine blue will be here. Okay? Black and white are going to be in the center because they are neutral. Our orange. What is our orange? Our orange is yellow and red. Yellow and alizarin. What is our purple? Our purple is blue and alizarin. What is our green? Our green is blue, and yellow. So basically from those, I just took each one, and then in between them, that's where we're going to get those secondaries, right? And this is not enough paint, but just to quickly illustrate for any of you guys who don't know, and this is something you want to just know. Something you just want to know. All right, so now we've got a 6-color color wheel, which was the first step. We did not have to mix our yellow, our red, or our blue. Those came right out of the tube. But then we took those 3, and with yellow and alizarin, we mixed orange. With alizarin and blue, we mixed purple. With yellow and blue, we've got green. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 colors with black and the white neutral. But, to get control over color, what's the first thing we've got to do? Is value. All right, so let's take our black and white. So what we'll do is we'll take, we don't need a ton, mostly black here, less black here, and looks like there's some yellow there. A little, just a touch there. Then with our white, we're gonna have plenty here. Again, remember, don't stack these on top of one another. Set little bitty piles next to one another, then we'll have more control over how much goes in and the value. This whole month is about gaining the understanding and control of our color. All right, how's everybody doing? How's everybody doing? So again, these are just preliminary steps we're gonna do before we get to the lesson, so I'm kind of blasting through those just a little bit. So our lightest gray, because we want 3 grays. And when we're mixing up colors, we want to make sure to mix up well and see if you can't begin to not get it all over your entire palette. See if you can't keep it a little bit smaller and tidier. So while you guys are busy blowing up your brains trying to learn the color, what's going to happen is you're going to be gaining palette control and all color mixing and mixing paint and paint quality without you even realizing it. So if sometimes things don't seem like they're going right, don't worry about it, because you're doing 100 other things that you're unconscious about right now, and those are going to be helping your painting. All right, so we got a middle gray, and again, these don't need to be exact. I just want them to be separated, right? I don't want it to be white, and I don't want it to be black. And I want to go from lighter to something in the middle to darker. Right, and so what I notice is my black seems to be quite a bit stronger than my white. So let's see here, I'm gonna be careful. But you know, maybe right now you have a hard time just getting 3 values with black and white. That's okay, be wherever you are. And so what I would do is practice mixing values with black and white. You're going to save a lot of money on paint, and you're going to learn more quickly, rather than trying to jump to something more advanced that you're not quite ready for, okay? By the way, you don't have to do all this video in one setting. If you're experienced with color, this might not be a big thing till we really get to it. If you don't have a lot of experience, these 2 things may take you a little time. And you know what? It takes what it takes. The idea here is for you to learn and understand what you're doing with your color and to gain control over that. All right, so just take it one step at a time. And if that's enough for today, man, take it and go have fun. Go practice, practice, practice. Okay, for the rest of us, we're still holding on. Let me check out there, see how everybody's doing. You guys doing okay? I haven't left anybody in the dust yet, I hope. All right, so just to reiterate, to give everybody time to catch up, everybody came in late. We've got Cad Yellow Light, we've got Alizarin Crimson, we've got Ultramarine Blue, tube colors. I've got Flake White Replacement. You can also take Titanium White if you like. I've got Ivory Black. I hope everybody squeezed out about 10 times more paint than they thought they needed. Okay, that's one of the things we're going to do this month, is get a different relationship with the quantity of paint that we squirt out. Because there's going to be levels to class right now. And the first level will be a stainer. And if you're a stainer, that means you don't use enough paint. You just stain the canvas. You don't actually put paint on it. And then as you know that that won't do it, then we can start putting out some paint. Okay, guys, so here we go. We're going to go on. I think yellow's the most challenging. So I'm going to start with yellow, and if yellow's all I do, then that'll be fine. The idea is take yellow to these 3 values. Let's take red to these 3 values. And let's take blue to those 3 values. If that's all you can do, great. Practice that. But if you've got that down easy peasy, lemon squeezy, then what's next? Well then, purple to those 3 values. Green to these 3 values. And orange to those 3. In other words, we're going to take all 6 of our colors and learn to adjust the value. Okay, that's the first step. First and well, they're all important, but without this, there's nothing. Right? If you've got good value but no color, you can still have some real quality art. By the way, all great art, you take the color away from it, it's still great. Value, 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 value. We can't say that enough. I go to bed at night and I say, oh, value, 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 value. And I wake up in the morning, value, 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 value. Every day, every day, every day. Value, value, value. So, that means we need 3 piles of yellow. Right? We got to adjust this one to that value gray, this one to our middle, this one to our dark. My yellow's a bit stiff. I'm just going to take a little bit of my medium and work it in, make my life easier, make my paint mixing go a lot quicker. Okay, so all of this is about paint management, and your paint quality is as much part of your paint management as your color. Because believe it or not, your paint quality actually affects the look of your colors, of your values, of your edges. So that's something else we're going to be getting sensitive about. All right. Most people aren't even, when they're here, when they're doing this, what I'm doing, their mind is somewhere else on the palette. Put your mind right here and only right there. And then once your mind is focused there, let go and turn it over to your nervous system and ask your fingers, ask your shoulder, how does that feel? And how is that different than that feel? Is it sticky? Does it come up easy? Or does the paint pull and try to fight the release? Okay? I know we're getting kind of artsy fartsy here, but the feel of the paint is so important, because more than any, after you have the knowledge of how to manipulate paint, it's more by feel than it is by intellect. Now when we start, we want to use our intellect to learn. One of the things that got me hooked as a painter, never let me go, is when I was quizzing my teacher. Color, 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 this and that, and this and that, and this and that, and this and that. And finally he goes, hey, look, kid, you don't actually see color. You feel it. Boom. There we go. I was hooked. I was hooked. So how do you think we might adjust this to the right value? Well, black. Well, first off, let's ask, is this lighter or darker? I hope everybody can see that the yellow is quite a bit lighter than all of them, but less. So, is this lighter or darker than this? It's lighter, so we can cross that off our list. Is this lighter or darker than that? It's darker, so that's a candidate. Is this lighter or darker? It's darker, so that's a candidate. Is this lighter or darker? It's darker, so it's also a candidate. So let's just step over here to the side for a second and ask ourselves, what happens when we use each of those darks to darken this? Now again, you have to be aware of don't just follow my directions. Right? Be aware of what's happening and how we're thinking and figuring this out. So that seems to go a little bit green. And then the blue seems to go a lot green. So our closest is this, but it still goes a little green, doesn't it? So how would I adjust that green to get more to the yellow? Well, I could use my orange. So when we say hue temperature, what we mean is that yellow can be more orange, which will be a warmer yellow. See how this gets warmer over here towards the orange? Or this hue can be a cooler yellow on this side. So that's hue temperature, right? So after we decide the hue, we talked about, is it a warmer yellow or a cooler yellow, right? What we're trying to do today is to keep it yellow just right down the center, right? We're just worried about the value today. We're not worried about this, but we need this knowledge to do what we need to do there, okay? Why is that? Why is that? The quickest way is going to be able to take this gray and now when I do that, is that really yellow? No, it's a little more green, isn't it? So what would I do? Right, so if I'm picking from these colors, I would take a little bit of red. Not much, just a touch. Just a touch. I mean, a small touch. And then let's go to the side and see how much it's going to take. Look how strong that is. It's not going to take much. Because we don't want orange, we want yellow. Okay, so are those the same value? They're pretty dang close. This is going to appear lighter to you because it's warmer, right? But one way, if you don't know how to, if you're unsure, what you can do is we can come down, let's get away, let's take a photo of that. So let's get oriented right. Take a photo. Let's look at that photo. Let's edit that photo. Let's turn the saturation to 0. Now, right there is that. Does that look like the same value? And I'm going to argue it does. Okay, so that's a very easy way to check your value if you don't quite have that in your eye yet. So then we've got our yellow at this value. So with this palette of these colors at this value, this is as bright of a yellow that we can get. Does that make sense to everybody? So what would this be? Now let's not use anything we've mixed up. Let's just use our tube colors to adjust. So first, we've got to darken it quite a bit, and black is going to get us there, is going to get us the closest there. So let's take some black, let's deposit it next to the pile, and then let's slowly just work this in to see which is stronger, what it's going to do. Are we pretty close there? And I'm going to say, yeah, we're pretty close. Value, but it leaned green, didn't it? It leaned green. So how are we going to lean it back? Well, with just a little bit of red. Now, this red is darker, so we're going to have to watch that we don't get it too dark. But we're really going to use so little that it might not matter. Okay, I feel like I need a little bit more. Again, I'm gonna stick it on the side, and not very much. My palette knife's almost just stained. Now again, you're gonna have to watch your paint, depending on your manufacturer, to see how strong each pigment is, because they're not all equal. And now this, we're getting a little closer to our yellow. Okay, we're just about to go over to orange there. Did we lose our value? Not much. We got slightly too dark, didn't we? So how can we adjust that? Well, simply with a little more yellow, because it's lighter and we want this to be yellow. Okay, and then I think we're back there. So we've got our first value of yellow. We've got our second value of yellow. And now we're going to do our third value of yellow. Okay, make sure you give yourself enough space if you don't have palette control to not run into all your other piles. Okay, so this may take several palettes for you, or I don't know. I work on a 16 by 20 palette, a piece of glass, with cardboard behind it. All right, so what do we got to do here? Well, black is first to darken it. Again, deposit on the side, and then just grab a little and see how it goes. Now, we need to go relatively dark on here, don't we? And again, you notice it's going green. It's going green, and we wanted more neutral. Are we there yet? I don't. Still looks a bit light, so maybe even some more black here. All right, we're getting a little bit closer. Yep, so that's pretty close. Now we're green. We need to bring it back red a little bit, deposit on the side, and let's pull it in. Okay. It's feeling better, feeling better, feeling better. So some of you might go, that's not yellow. You know what I say to you? Yes, it is. This is as yellow as we can get at this value. By the way, look at the value yellow started at, and look how much we've changed it. So whenever you change a color that drastically, it has to lose some of its chroma. Whenever you add anything to any of these colors, the chroma is going to decrease a little bit. But what we're concerned about isn't chroma on its own, but the relationship. The relationship, or the space between the notes, not the notes themselves. So believe it or not, this will work out as a dark yellow. Yeah, it was still a little bit green, but now, right, there's almost no color. Right, and notice how it went from green to now this reads almost red to me. Well, because yellow is not naturally that dark. In that value space, yellow is weak. Yellow is weak. But in this value space, these two are going to be strong, right? But as we come up to this value space, these two will get weaker. Does that make sense? All right, so we are down to just a couple of minutes, and I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm going to mix Mix a little blue because it's a bit of an exception. And then I'm going to stick around for a few minutes after, about 5 or 10 minutes if you guys have any questions. All right, so try to formulate those in your mind and go ahead and get them in the comments. And I'll ask a couple of questions before we call it a day, okay? We'll be back tonight for Sketch Club on Facebook. And then tomorrow morning, we'll be back here mixing again. Okay? So, let's see. I've got 3 minutes. What can we do with 3 minutes? So if I was to adjust blue, 1, 2, what can lighten blue? Can that lighten blue? No. Can that lighten blue? No. Can that lighten blue? Yes. Can that lighten blue? Yes. Okay, so we've got two options here. First option, I hope most of you know what's going to happen here, is going to really take it over to the green side. And if we take this option, white, it stays blue. So blue is one of those rare colors. We want to try not to use white unless we absolutely have to. And blue is one of those colors that you have to use white to lighten it, because green. All right? So with your blue, all you're going to do is add a certain quantity of white until the value's right. And how do we know if the value's right? Well, we could take a picture and see. Okay? Then over here, what would I do? Well, I would just be adding a little less white. Deposit it on the side. Don't put it in the middle. Don't put it in the middle. Okay? So I'll let you guys match those with the blue. What about our red, our alizarin? Well, will this lighten it? No. Will that lighten it? No. Will that lighten it? Yes. Will that lighten it? Yes. All right, so let's take two piles. We've already seen what this is going to do. It's going to take us orange. What's white going to do? It's going to go pretty pink. So in this scenario, you're going to have to use both white and yellow, right? Because look, we've still got to lighten that quite a bit. We've still got to lighten that quite a bit. So I could take some yellow and white, mix those together a bit. So again, we get further and further away from the color the more we change the chroma. Do you see how much we're changing from red here? This is really going orange. Really going orange. But it's just like our yellow down here. Oops, our time's up. It's just like our yellow down here, right? Because we had to make the yellow travel such a far value distance, we lost almost all of the chroma. Similar here, we're having to light this up so much, we're going to be losing a lot of that. Right, if I just used white, so again, the question sometimes is how much yellow and how much white. Okay, so let's see what we've got here. I hope everybody was able to see that okay. Let's go back and review quickly what we did today. Let's take a look at what we did. Okay, so the first thing we did was we mixed our 6-color color wheel with yellow, red, and blue being our tube colors. cad yellow light, alizarin crimson, and ultramarine blue. And from those, we mixed our secondaries, our orange, green, and our purple. Then we mixed 3 values with black and white, and we got a light gray, a middle gray, and a dark gray. From there, we're going to match the 3 values with all 6 colors. Okay? I quickly ran through the primaries. I showed you step by step on the yellow, and I quickly mentioned blue and red. If you're able to get those, go on to orange, purple, and green if you have time. Okay? And how do we do it? First, always first adjust the value. Why? Because you're going to see, like, how's the strongest chroma I can have at this value. Right? And a lot of times it's not what you think. It doesn't look like you think it should look. But value, value, value. You trust the value, not your eyes. You trust the value, not your thinking. When it's at that value, without changing the value, adjust the hue. And then when you've got it in the hue, you can adjust the temperature, right? Is it a warmer, more orange yellow, or is it a cooler, more green yellow? And finally, we can adjust how much chroma is in that. And we did not do that today. We will do that at another time. All right, but today was just about getting the values. Just about those values. All right, how did everybody do? How did everybody do? Looks like we got most of you still here. All right, so if you drop us an email, if you don't have, well, I haven't done the references, but the color exercise PDF. Yeah, that's what she's saying. So the sheet you saw, if you're not in class and would like access to that, you can sign up for our school, and when we see you sign up, we can send that over to you. All right, and for the students, the color exercise reference sheet is in your course under week 1, all ready for you. So you can go there and look at it, and you can even print it out if you like. All right, as I see no questions, you guys are probably still mixing your little heads off, your hearts out. All right, I really appreciate it. Susan, great exercise, thank you. All right, thank you guys. So we're gonna leave it there today. You got some time, stay here and play. Find those things, all right? And then we'll get in here tomorrow and maybe we'll talk about chroma. We'll see else what we need to talk about. So if you have questions about today, get those emailed in, let me know, because tomorrow for those exercises, if there's questions I need to address, I'll make sure to do that on tomorrow's program. All right. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Sue. Very clear. I hope everybody got something out of this. I got a lot. All right, it's off to the studio for me. I hope you get to do the same thing. Much love to all of you. Can't tell you how much I appreciate your time and attention. All right, we love you guys. See you later.